Hello everyone! Looks like we're live all around. Excellent. So welcome to today's Baking with Jen. I'm Jen and today we are working on a brioche dough, brioche buns. I want to, my neighbor recently helped me out, and something's going on. Anyway, my neighbor recently really helps me out. And so I wanted to do something nice for him, and I thought that making like a brioche would be really awesome. But it's just him and his wife. So I'm gonna make little brioche buns or little like mini doughs. No, not doughs. Breads. Mini breads? That doesn't sound right either. Um, they're gonna be like buns. Loaves. Mini loaves. There we go. So big buns, mini loaves, something in that general area. The idea right now is that today we're gonna mix and knead the whole thing, and then on Thursday we'll form the loaves and bake them, and then we'll have all of that because this is a fairly long kneading process. If you have a stand mixer, this goes a lot quicker. But my stand mixer is still in storage, and since we're about to move, I'm not gonna go get my stand mixer just to like move it somewhere else. So today we're going to mix the dough and um, I'm going to raise it for an hour like it's supposed to, but we're gonna mix and knead it, and then it's gonna go in the fridge until Thursday. I'll bring it out early on Thursday so it can do its whole little rising thing, and then we can get started once it's all ready. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm gonna take this down. First off, let's look at the recipe. I have the recipe on my phone. So let me look this up on the computer real quick, and I'm gonna turn this camera off. Maybe not. We'll just there we go. I'll turn that camera off for a minute. And this is going to be our microphone. Let's see. It's a delish. Let's see. DELISH Dish. Brioche. Best brioche recipe. Yay. Is this the one I'm looking at? The stuff on it looks different, but that could just be like the ads and stuff. Alright, let me scroll down a little bit. Yep, this is the same recipe I'm looking at. So let's have you look at this recipe too. Alright, this is the recipe I'm looking at. And today I am using a bread flour. Today I'm using bread flour because we found some on sale. So I'm like, yay, bread flour. Might as well use it for something. Hey, I'm making bread. Let's use bread flour. That is literally how that train of thought went. Alright, so this is what flour should I use? All-purpose flour is fine. I'm using bread flour. Yeast, I'm using active dry yeast. I make this dough by hand. See, it says technically yes, but the stand mixer makes your life 100 times easier because there's a lot of mixing. A lot of gluten development, a lot of mixing. So that's why it's part of the reason why today we're just mixing. Anyway, the dough seems very wet and sticky. It's a very moist dough enriched with lots of eggs and butter and insanely delicate crumb and fatty goodness. The dough will be quite sticky initially. This recipe uses large eggs. If you run larger, you only have to use 5. And then butter. Overly wet batter, stickiness, hallmark of enriched dough. Trust the process. Have patience. Let gluten develop. How do I know gluten developed properly? Butter, overnight resting. Okay. Down in the recipe. There we go. Here we are. So, I did already make a sponge for this. But we're gonna make another one just for funsies because I can always turn the sponge just into like another loaf or a different kind of loaf. I don't have to make it a brioche because if you look here, it just takes flour, yeast, and milk. So yes, it will have milk and it will be slightly enriched, but it's not going to be like eggs and butter and all that. So I am going to do the thing. I'm going to do some stuffs. I'm going to do the things and stuff and things. Right. So let's bring, nope, the camera's looking the wrong way. Okay, that's fun, that's fun. We will facing back, yep, there we go. This is the better camera anyway, so you don't need to see the game of what's going on. Technically, this phone is for my kids. It's like a truck. It's just a little phone that doesn't even really work. Anyway, so to make the sponge, let's get the get everything in view. Okay, so we're gonna start off with a cup of flour. And so it's about 120, the recipe says 128. You know what, let's make this a little bit more even. And fix the camera. Let's fix it. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, so 128 grams. One is what the recipe says. My last one was 133. Now this went up to 140, so that's a little bit much. Close enough. 129. That's good enough. Like, I would have taken up to like 135. After that, it starts getting a little bit excessive. So, all right. So this 128, 129, and then 1 packet of yeast, or if you're using a dry yeast like I am, then it's 7 grams according to the recipe. I think it said 9 on my last one, but that's just because I slightly went over. We're at 6, 7. Let's see, went down to 6, 7. So I did that before, and then it went up to 9 somehow. But now we're heavily in the 7. So 7 grams. Up, it just kind of went up to 8. So we're right there. Sorry, I was just putting the yeast back in the fridge. I think I accidentally killed it last time by forgetting to take it out. I'm sorry, this is distracting me. It's just movement. Okay, so now it's 120 grams of milk. It does say lukewarm milk, so StreamYard updated some stuff, and it's kind of weirding me out because I'm getting all these notices and stuff that things aren't connected. I'm like, things are connected the way they should be. Anyway, going back to the recipe for the milk, it says half a cup, 120 grams. Did we say 120 grams for half a cup? This says, yeah, half a cup of lukewarm milk, 120 grams. Now, so I mean, I'm using cold milk. So that just means it's going to take a little bit longer to rise, and 122. The last one I got at 120. A little bit over. Yep. So it's going to take a little bit longer to rise, and it won't rise as actively. Like, part of what yeast are little creatures, and they like reproduce and make more and more, especially when they have food like sugar and flour, carbohydrates really. And so when they have these things, they reproduce nicely, and then they keep going until they create too much waste, and then they start dying. But anyway, going back to the first part, they will reproduce actively if they're at like the perfect temperature. If they're cold and they slowly warm up, then they will still produce the same amount of yeast. It just will be a lot slower. And so, so this is basically what it is: milk, yeast, and flour all mixed together. Now let's see how much. Here's the other one I made. It says when it starts getting bubbly, you can add other stuff to it. Now, oh, I can't see through the bottom of this one. Oh well. Like this is part of how I can tell if it's getting bubbly or not, because it usually looks like something on that side. So, because I don't know if it's getting bubbly or not, and I could let this sit a little bit, it could go a little bit longer, especially since I know for it. It should be fine. I'm gonna put this one into the microwave. I have like I boiled a cup of water, and I put that in there, and then these are just sitting in there with it, so that the water can add heat and everything. I also forgot to bring out my sticks of butter, so they're in there too. Everything's in there kind of warming up. So this is the sponge that I made before, and the sponge is just the mixture of yeast and some flour with a liquid to get it started. Bigger bowl. We're gonna need a bigger bowl. Okay, for the rest of this, so we have the sponge, and you know, I'm gonna actually stick this back in the microwave with the rest of the things, while we weigh out the rest of the ingredients, just to kind of give it a little bit more time in there. It should have plastic over it to help keep it moist, but I think with the cup of water that I have in there, that it should be. So, technically the recipe says to do all of this in the stand mixer bowl, and then to just like add to it. But we're not doing this in stand mixer, we're doing this by hand. So we're gonna do it a little bit differently. And so we're gonna go for the dough, but I'm gonna put the flour and the dry ingredients in first so that I can have like a well to put everything in. I used a small bowl for the sponge because I didn't want it to be too much. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to do it in the small one, I guess. Anyway, let's start with the flour. This is going to be 3 cups. So this says 384 grams of flour. Let's see. I'm just starting to pour. Oh, I'm at 402. There we go. It's a little bit more than I need to count. That's 385. Wow, that was, I grabbed like the right amount to pull out of there. That's awesome. Okay, so we have our 3 cups of flour, 385 grams. And it says half a cup of granulated sugar, and this says 105. I'm gonna try to go with 100 grams. But 105 won't kill anything. How much do we have? I have another one. I just don't want to go get it right now. 84, 85, 87, 88, 90, 95, 97, 100. Just gonna pour all this in here. 114, 115. So we're gonna pretend that it doesn't have that much sugar in it. That's okay. Okay, and then 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. So let's see. About that as a teaspoon. Oh, about that as a teaspoon. There we go. We have salt. This is just like a chunky sea salt. It's a little bit of a bigger grain than the Umbrella Girl salt, but yeah, it's just a like Trader Joe's sea salt kind of thing. Okay, so right now we have flour, sugar, salt, and then butter will add later. And then right now it just needs the 6 large eggs and the sponge. Okay, so just with my fingers right now, I'm going to mix this around. Just to get it kind of mixed up right now, just the flour. But well, the flour, sugar kind of mix. That's gonna make a nice little well in the middle here. I don't like my wells to show like anything on the bottom. I don't want to be able to see the bottom of my bowl because for me, part of the whole thing in making a well for me to sit in is that it's holding the wet ingredients. But if you make a well all the way to the bottom, then it doesn't really hold it. It just kind of goes through. There we go. It goes all the way through. All right. So this has 6 eggs. Got 2. And these are also supposed to be room temperature, but they're kind of room temperature-ish. I took them out like an hour ago. They just might not be as room temperature as they should be. Yeah, it's probably been about 45 minutes since I took them out. Come on, open up, open up. There we go. 4. And 6. There's part of me that wanted to just crack that on my head just now, but I just dropped like a big piece of PVC pipe on my head, and that just sounds like a bad idea. I want to rinse my hands, but that sounds like not the best idea. Anyway, so right now this is basically almost the same as like a pasta dough. So I'm just gonna break the eggs and kind of mix this together. Mix the eggs and the flour with the sugar and stuff together. I'm just, hopefully this won't be like super sticky. It probably will though. And then I'm gonna add the sponge to it here in just a minute. We're gonna get the eggs all mixed into the flour and then we'll add the sponge. And then we'll see what it turns out on here. Now, if you look, let's see, once the sponge is formed, some air pockets, add in eggs, remaining 3 cups of flour, sugar, and salt, mix on medium until well combined. Then gradually increase to medium-high and continue mixing until dough pulls away from the sides of the bowl and becomes shiny and elastic. Scraping down bowl every 3 to 5 minutes, 10 to 13 minutes. It's going to take us longer than that because we're doing this by hand. But to me, that basically says we want like an elastic dough to be started before we even add the butter. Now, it'll definitely get sticky once we add the butter, but we're starting off just with the dough and trying to get everything kind of incorporated, mixed together, and like an elastic kind of dough kind of thing. Okay, so this is a lot together. There is a lot of powdery flour still, but right now this is fairly thick and it doesn't feel like it wants to absorb the flour easily. So while this is still kind of a goopy texture and not like a bready texture, I'm going to go ahead and add the sponge to this. Smelling good in there. The microwave. I have the other one of these, and I have my butter because I forgot to pull my butter out in time. Look at the difference between, can you see that? Like this is more of a white, and then this is like that yellow. If I had farm eggs, that would be like gold color. That would be amazing. I like them. See, right now they're kind of similar textures. They're kind of sticky, kind of doughy, and so that's why I want to mix them together now. So that they just kind of, I feel like they would incorporate better rather than waiting until it's more doughy, bread doughy, sticky, elastic. What word am I looking for here? I don't know. All right, now we're gonna have to start getting our hands dirty. I did take off my ring for the moment because this is a really goopy dough. Really, really goopy. And it's one of those things, it's like, ugh, I already know I'm gonna put all the goopiness all over my hands. Ah, blasphemy. That's okay. I'm hoping to keep all of the goop on one hand, so I'll have one goopy hand and one non-goopy hand. That is the idea. So, what I would like to do is keep this in the bowl and kind of knead it in the bowl and get it all mixed together and kneaded nicely and turned into the dough that we want. But I know that at some point I'm going to get fed up with the bowl and just start doing this on the counter. It's just, this is really sticky and I don't want this on the counter right now. I'm getting a towel. I'm going to put the towel under the bowl. Feel like it's moving around too much. Technically a wet towel would be a lot better for this, but right now we're just towel. Towel's better than no towel. It'll at least stop it from making so much noise. The dough scraper, I'm just kind of scraping everything down. But still really sticky. But like again, I haven't really started kneading this yet. Right now, this is just kind of our mixing step. We're not even done mixing yet. But by the sounds of the mixing method for this, it really sounds like the kneading and the mixing are kind of the same because you're kneading it into the dough, but at the same time, you have to kind of mix it slowly, coming together slowly, mixing it all the time. Gosh. Mixing it slowly. I don't know. Part of the thing is like the melody came to mind, but not the real words. And so to it's really hard for me to come up with fake words if I can't remember the real words because I'm trying to remember the real words and come up with fake words at the same time, and that just doesn't work. Now, if I know the real words, then it's a lot easier for me to replace them with fake words. And so my brain is too much going on, but that's all right. The stretch and pull method of kneading. It's not. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. My professional baker friend should come in and tell me how I'm doing this wrong. Well, I already know I'm doing it in a bowl or versus a stand mixer. So according to the recipe, I'm doing it wrong. But there are other ways to do things. And this is supposed to be a very sticky dough. But like the only ingredients I have to add from here are butter. So that does have me a little concerned considering that right now this just feels very, very wet. Very wet. But it is starting to come together a little bit nicer because it was really, the word I want to use is chunky, but it's not so much like the pieces were mixed together and it didn't have like chunks of stuff in it. It just right now this looks more like ribbony and it's like pulling together, but there's still some places where you can see like it breaks easily. And so it has a bunch of little break marks, and the little break marks make it look chunky versus like smooth or elastic or like long ribbons. Ribbons, where I get the ribbons? Pride and Prejudice. Ooh, I wonder, like, out of the rom-coms, romantic movies, even like old movies and all of those mixed together, the like a lot of these movies have like a moment that just kind of him, her give you chills kind of thing. Like one of the ones in Pride and Prejudice. It's just him helping her into the cart. Like he lifts up his hand to like hold her hand. He lifts her into the cart and then she like looks at him and he's like, good day, and walks away. And as he's walking away, he like flexes his hand. And it's just like that's one of those moments that just like gives you chills. Or another one right off the top of my head is in the wedding planner. And they're in the dance studio, and the groom and the wedding planner start dancing, and Matthew McConaughey just goes like, he starts like first step off, and that's just like one of those moments. It's just like, okay, yeah, that's fun. We like that. And I'm sure there's lots of other movie moments like that from other rom-coms and other kind of movies like that where it's just like, it's like, yeah, that's so cool. That's so like romantic and um just like touches the feels and all of that kind of stuff. Um so I think it would be kind of cool to put together like a compilation of those moments into a video. I think it would be kind of hard though. But, like, those are the 2 I have off the top of my head. I'm sure there's other ones. But just, like, the moments that kind of leave you speechless in kind of, like, a fun, romantic kind of way. I don't know. I don't even know where that came from. I think it was, like, one of the quotes in my head were from the movie or one of the parts or something. I I don't know how I end up where I end up. I just end up there. It's okay. Law of attraction says go down the river. Um, I also think I'm going to be sitting here kneading for like an hour. That's what my intuition tells me. It's like, you just picked like the forearm workout of the day, right? The only problem with this is that um, technically I'm left-handed, technically I'm ambidextrous. The way I put it is anything that I need power, like oomph, I use my right side. Anything that I need like delicate finesse, I use my left side. So I hit harder, I can lift more, um, like all of that stuff with my right side. Even my kicks with my right leg are more powerful. Um, if I want a kick to be pretty or to, no, no, no. My right leg has to be my base, so it's my left leg that I kick more powerfully with. I don't know. Anyway, I have prettier kicks on my left side too. So I make the kicks look prettier, but they have no power. Or on my right side, I have power, but they might look a little sloppy. Not so pretty. So it would make sense that kneading is with my right hand. I also throw with my right hand. So I catch with my left hand and I throw with my right. I catch with my left and throw with my right, like, normal people, like most right-handed people do. But I bat left-handed because it takes more like concentration and finesse. Like, yes, you have to swing it, but it's more precise. It's more for me, it's more precise anyway. It doesn't take as much power because it's all momentum based. You're swinging something and you're using gravity and momentum and the weight of the object in batting. So it requires more precision, more skill, more preciseness. And technically, yes, throwing a ball does require preciseness, but I need the power to get the ball where it needs to go. And so, if I threw left-handed, I could probably only throw about half as far with my right hand as I can with my right hand. So, right side is power and strength and all of that kind of fun stuff, and my left side is finesse and precision and pretty. That's why that's why I say I write with my left hand because I need it to be more precise. I also eat with my left hand because it's more precise. But also, I can eat with my right hand if I needed to. They say if you do everyday tasks with your opposite hand, that it like stimulates your brain more. So if you're to do something like eat with your opposite hand or brush your teeth with your opposite hand, then it helps like stimulate your brain
in different ways so that it's like a brain workout and it can not necessarily guard against something like Alzheimer's, but it can help guard against it. Like if you do every other thing that will help give you Alzheimer's, not that I know how much we have of that, like how much of that is something you can do and how much of it is like genetics and that kind of thing. Like maybe a lot more people would have gotten it in the old days if they had lived to be 80, 90, 100. And maybe we're just seeing the natural things of that. But, well, so have living to 80, 90, 100 be more of a regular thing as long as you like take care of your body and everything. Because, yes, if you're a regular cliff diver, then you're more likely to die on the side of a cliff. I know, but at the same time, if you're someone who habitually stays home and eats fatty food and plays video games and doesn't take care of yourself, you're probably going to die like a heart attack early. So take care of yourself, move around, do stuff. Maybe you can live to 100 and get Alzheimer's. Oh, maybe you'll have a healthy brain. I don't know. So today we are making brioche dough. We're doing the mixing and um, sorry. Yeah, today we're making a brioche dough. We're just kneading it and mixing it today. In this, I have the flour, sugar, salt, eggs, and milk. I'm kneading this until it becomes fairly elastic, which we're getting there. And then we're going to add butter. Um, this is a very sticky dough. That's why I'm kneading it this way in a bowl. Um, but Titanium, I'm Jen, and I do weekly baking videos. I usually do them twice a week. We were just talking about getting Alzheimer's, and I was saying I don't know if it's because more people are living to be old, and so it's like a natural thing, or maybe it's if you eat better, you don't get it as much. I don't know, but that's what you walked in on. But yep, today we are making brioche dough. And it's coming together nicely. I'm kind of getting afraid that this is really sticky and that um, it might not come into a dough ball like I'm thinking it will. That's okay. This did say to make it in a stand mixer, but my stand mixer isn't able to make bread right now. And so anytime I make bread, I have to make it by hand. Yes, you should go to sleep if you feel tired, right? But I know sometimes in the middle of the night was the only time that I got to myself, especially when my kids are small or when I worked nights. And so I would stay up way too late trying to just spend some time um, on my own. Like, I just want some time to myself. So if you're tired, you should sleep, but maybe you have other reasons for not sleeping. That's what I do sometimes, but since most of my time is spent, I spend a lot of time looking for jobs or trying to figure out what I can be doing to try to make money because right now, this is basically what I got, and this isn't exactly. Oh, it's not midnight? Oh, then you got plenty of time. But yeah, I do spend a lot of time, like with my kids are at school, doing my own thing, so I don't have to stay up so late most nights. But well, that could be true too. But if you don't get enough sleep, then your brain doesn't work as good as it should, and you make more mistakes in your everyday life. So, depending on what you're doing, it might be more important than sleeping. In 42 minutes, okay, well, fair enough. 42 minutes, got plenty of time. But what time do you wake up in the morning? That's the question. Because if, um, like my husband prefers to sleep until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but he prefers to go to bed at like 11 o'clock in the morning. I prefer to go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and then I wake up around 6 in the morning. But I wake up at 6 because my kids get up around 7, 7:30, and I want to be able to take a shower and like make my coffee and those kind of things before they're up and running around. Chat this. Oh, I appreciate you coming and chatting with me then. Someone has to do it, and you're doing an amazing job. I appreciate having people here I can chat with. 7:20. Okay. All right. Well, staying up until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. That doesn't sound like it's too terrible then. I think for optimal sleep, it's like 8 hours, but you can definitely survive on 6 for a while. Yeah. Do you stream as well? Or do you just come in and support streamers? You're a small streamer supporter? Well, I appreciate you. If there was a way to like to appreciate that kind of things, that would be amazing. Alright, I'm just checking on the recipe because it says until shiny and elastic. See, sides of the ball become shiny and pulls away from the sides of the bowl and becomes shiny and elastic. Okay, it's not pulling away from the sides of the bowl yet. Right. It is sad to see someone kind of talking to themselves. I'm very, very practiced at it. Because I talk to myself through everything that I do. I find it helps me concentrate. So I've always done it. Um, it weirded people out at work because they thought I was talking to them. I was like, no, I'm just telling myself what I need to get. Because I was a waitress and a bartender. So I might like talk through the recipe, or if I need sodas, like maybe I'm talking to myself about which sodas I need and those kind of things. Yeah. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people who have some really good ideas, and if they could just get, like take off, like the world would be a lot better place. It's just really hard to find them sometimes. So you do the same in your head. Yeah, I just do it out loud. And so talking to the camera's not too terrible. At least my hypnotic kneading could be like relaxing to some people. That's what I was trying to think. It's not ASMR. What's ASMR for your eyes? Is ASMR is for your like your hearing kind of senses. Oh wow, nobody to talk to for 2 weeks. Well, it sounds like you're doing awesome in supporting these small streamers. What does that streamer do? Like, what do they stream about? Because my kids want to get into streaming video games, but I told them they have to get an angle. I'm slowly getting them set up. Oh, nice! See, you're such a great supporter. We need more people like you. Very to appreciate. Oh, he makes food and then plays games? That's awesome. Yeah. I do boring things like watch people's political opinions because I like hearing different opinions about things. I like watching people who share my opinions and um, people who have different opinions. I'm usually arguing back at the people who I feel have different opinions than me, but so that's one of those things that unless you want to make that your whole identity, you don't usually get online and start talking about like political opinions. Now, if you want to make that your life, then go ahead. But I feel like for everyday people, just keep it amongst friends. Well, this is coming together nicely. It's starting to kind of pull away from the sides. Like when I pull it up, it's coming away from the bottom, but it's still sticking. There's one streamer who told me, oh yeah. Wait, are you a dude? You're really good. I really appreciate you hanging out, and it sounds like you're a great supporter of many people. So that is definitely appreciated. See, I started my life in California, and so especially in the 90s, everybody was dude, dudette, like guys, gang, like those kind of words is how we talked about everybody. And sometimes I feel like today's words might be a little bit more regulated than then. But I agree, you're a good dude. So just down. This is a much harder task to do by hand than with a stand mixer. Just saying. But I am getting a great forearm workout on my right hand only. This great forearm workout. This is going to be like really strong. One of these days. Dude, and I don't know if you're calling woman or alien. Awesome. Okay, cool. Perfect. And if I remember, I forget where you are. For some reason, I'm thinking you're in Spain, but I could be wrong. Probably I'm wrong. An alien. Well, depending on your belief, some people believe humans are aliens, so you might be an alien. And I haven't even added the butter yet, but I used the measurements in the recipe, the weights and everything. So I'm probably just not far enough into this. I just feel like it's not coming together like it should. So I think that I haven't kneaded it enough. But it's one of those times where my arm's getting tired and it's like, I want to be done kneading now, so can I just be done? And it's like, nope, nope, keep going. Because we're only halfway there. Oh, I asked if you were in Spain because I can't remember where you're from. And I was saying I thought you were from Spain, but I forget. Nope, not in Spain. Okay. Hmm. Finland. There we go. I'm sorry. Hmm. What languages do you watch videos in? Best place in the world? That's what I've heard, and I would love to visit. It's definitely on my places I want to go. Um, Currently Russia, English. Okay, perfect. That makes it, well, I know there's a lot of creators who speak English and not as many who speak other languages. I'm trying to find a good, um, either somebody who tells stories or somebody who does food stuff who speaks in French, German, or Spanish. I've very varying degrees of ability in those languages, but um, yeah, I know I've heard lots of good things about Finland. Right? It's um, with the internet, there's just so many more things to read and listen to work on it. There's also more people to interact with and get more practice. The internet is great. We're pulling away from the bowl. I like we're about halfway through because once we get this part, then it's time to add the butter. And we have a full cup of butter to add. So I don't know if it's going to like mix in and incorporate really well, if it's just going to make everything stickier. I'm hoping that it'll help pull it together more, but I think it's just going to make everything stickier. That is my hypothesis. Finnish accent speaking English is really great. Nice. Yeah, I think accents are so much fun. Something I can never do because I'm not from I've seen okay, let me finish my thought. I'm sorry. Something I could never do because I'm not from a country that speaks a language other than English is I would love to hear an American accent versus like so maybe like an American speaking Finnish and how that's different than a Finnish person speaking Finnish. Um, I think, but Google Kimmy, and you can look at the Finnish accent. Perfect. I know after one of my first streams, because you were one of the first people to watch me stream, we ended up having a really heavy talk. But anyway, um, I was going and listening to some people speaking Finnish because I wanted to try to learn a few words to say something to you. And it was just very confusing. And I've heard Finnish is very hard to learn. So one of those things I need to find a better way. Okay, look at his interview. Any particular interview or just look at when he does an interview? Yeah, hard. That's what everyone says too. So go spend 6 months in Finland and see if you can learn Finnish. Me. That would be fun for me to do. See if I could live in Finland for 6 months and learn Finnish. Okay, cool. So it sounds like that person has some good videos. Yeah, but I love accents from all over. So I imagine the Finnish one would be really great. I don't know why for some reason in 6 months you can't get the Finnish accent. Well, I'm sure I couldn't get a Finnish accent, but I would like to be able to at least speak in Finnish. Talk to people and have them understand me. That is, and understand what they're talking about. That would be my goal for 6 months. Like, can I go down to the store and get what I need? Can I ask someone about their day and know what's going on? That's what I've heard, and that some of the words, it really depends on how you say, how you accentuate the word to what it means. That's what I've heard. Because if you don't buy anything 18 plus, you don't have to speak. Oh, nice. Well, okay, then maybe go to a bar and talk to people, or just go somewhere and talk to people. That is my base goal. I don't need to know every word in a language. Heck, I don't know the words in English. I know a lot of words in English. There's part of me that wants to wash my hand, but I think it's a bad idea. How old do you have to be in Finland to buy alcohol? Is that something you need to be 18 to buy? It's like, what would you need to be 18 plus to buy in Finland? The only thing I could think is alcohol, unless there's other things. I know in America, some places make you show your ID to get cold medicine. 18. That makes sense. A lot of places consider 18 to be an adult, and so it would make sense. Technically, I don't know why the US doesn't do 18. I think that they found that there was a lot more accidents and whatnot with 18-year-olds, but also, in general, Americans don't value broad safety, value other things. So, this is as much as I'm gonna need this at this point. It says to start adding the butter in 1 tablespoon at a time. I'm not gonna measure exact tablespoons. I'm just gonna cut chunks of the butter and mix it until it's all the way mixed in. And we have a full cup of butter to do this way, so it's 2 sticks. Just until age 21. Right, it does take your brain a lot longer to finish aging. It's somewhere in there. I think it's between like 21 and 30. I'm not even sure on that. I did have someone tell me it was 25 at one point, but I've also heard that like women and men's brains develop at different rates. And so maybe it's like women who go to 21 and men develop until 30. These things change. And, well, they find out more information as time goes on and they're able to look into things more. But I can't always keep up with these things. I think that first chunk of butter is mixed in. I'm not feeling it anywhere anyway. And it's sticking to me more, so that's something. Sure, let's learn some Finnish words. Yes. Um, what should we learn? In Finland, do you all do a lot of hobbies? 'Cause I know in like Germany they do a lot of hobbies. Um, Americans have hobbies, they just don't realize that the things that they do are hobbies. Um, because like what's coming to mind is trying to ask somebody like, what do you do for fun? Um, Hobbies, like things to do for fun, playing video games, cooking, gardening, bicycling. Um, some people really like movies or happiness. Yes. Or happiness? No. I was I want to know what brings people happiness. Like what makes them happy. That's my thing. I like to make people happy, which is part of the reason I learned how to cook and bake is because I know that food makes people happy. But I also know that, oh, I said hobbies. Like things you do for fun. Oh, sorry, there was a lot of dry dough on my hand and I had to go get it off. Chat with them, right? So I was gonna, like, how do you ask somebody about their hobbies? Has no one? Yeah, that, I could do that. Especially since I just watch people in the evenings. It's like instead of watching TV, most people are watching live streams and YouTube videos these days. It's the new TV. Makes me happy and you happy. Okay. Um, so in Finnish, why don't we just like, how are you? Or we could even learn happy. What? How do you say happy in Finnish? Or like, I am happy. Let's see. The word I was looking for is hobbies. I am happy. Mm, Mina Ole. Mm, I don't. Bread. Yes. You know what? I'm actually really surprised that as I add butter, this is coming together a lot more and it's actually feeling a lot less sticky. So that is actually making me really happy right now. Okay. So Mina, Olen, let's see the nen at the end. Oinen? Yeah, okay. So Mina, Olen, Il, Iloinen. Oh, thank you. I just have to keep looking at it. Here, we're gonna put that out there so I can see it a little bit better. Okay, so I am happy. Mina, Olen. I imagine it does. I'm wanting to read the middle OI as oi, and I don't think that is correct. Mina Olen. Yay! That part's good. The last part needs help. Okay. Oi. Mina Olen. Iloinen? Nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate your help. I didn't mean to take that off of there. Nice. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I love learning new languages. Je suis pas un petit peu français, mais je ne parle très bien. And let's see. French. I can also do. Now I can think it's French. I was gonna say Spanish next. Yo hablo español un poquito. And I can say, do you speak German? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? But I don't remember how to say I don't speak German. And I know how to count to 10, and that's about what I can do in German. Oh, you can say Olen, Iloinen. Oh, nice. That's good to know. Very close and similar, but slightly different. I imagine that's like in French, you can say comment ça va, which is how are you, or like a quicker version is just ça va. So that's what I'm thinking of it as, but I don't know how to write that. I love you in German. Yeah, I don't know how to say that in German. I imagine it would be in Robin Hood Men in Tights, the movie. No, he's saying goodbye. Never mind. So see, there's a part where he says the same thing over and over again in different languages, but that's just goodbye. Yeah. Yeah. I find writing in other languages a lot harder than writing in the language I'm used to, which is English. French, some things can be a little bit easier for me because it's written more the way that I think it should be written, but I've been trained in English for a long time, so sometimes I get it wrong. But I haven't practiced my French in 2 or 3 years. Oh. I was using Duolingo, and I was almost at a year of using Duolingo, practicing my French and learning more French. And then they did they changed how it looks. And they changed where some of the lessons were. And I'm the kind of person that I need to go through and know everything. So I had to go through and redo it, and I had too much. Well, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you staying. Right, you're so tired, and it's midnight, almost midnight. So thank you for staying with me today and talking. I really appreciate that. And I thank you for teaching me some Finnish. Have a good night. All right. But we've almost finished putting in the first batch of butter. Yay! Halfway to finish the butter. Go ahead and take this. It's a lot softer. That makes me happy. Because the softer butter would be easier to mix in. 11 minutes till midnight. Okay. 11 hours off. These two. 10 hours off. Okay. 10 hours probably ahead of me. I forget where the dateline is though. Hoo-wee. All right. So we have one stick of butter in. It's pulling away from the sides nicely, so that makes me happy. I've done most of the kneading in the bowl, which that makes me really happy because I thought I was gonna get upset and take it out of the bowl at some point. But so far, I've just been doing everything in the bowl and not making a huge mess. I like that I'm not making the counter messy so far. We'll see if I can continue to keep the counter clean as I need for this last bit. Get the last of the butter in. But this is a very intense dough. Like I said, if you have a hand mixer, and not this kind of hand mixer, I mean a stand mixer and not this kind of hand mixer, this would be a lot easier. But I currently missing the dough attachment to the mixer we have. My dough attachment is in my storage unit, which I have not felt like spending 10 hours taking everything out of storage, rearranging it, and putting it back just to get my dough hook. And especially since we're going to be moving across town here very soon, I'm not going to do that right now. Now, after we move, I do plan on doing something like that because I will have a little bit more storage space in the new house, and I do have a bunch of boxes that I want to go through and like consolidate things and get rid of some stuff. Like some of it's some of the kids' toys. I thought that we were gonna have all of the kids together a lot sooner, and so there's some of the kids' toys that they're growing out of, and we're not gonna need anymore. So I'm just gonna straight up get rid of them. We're just gonna get rid of those toys, and it'll be fine. But I need to go through their boxes of toys I have in storage and do that. But there's also, like we're gonna have all of his kids, my husband's kids at least, for the month of July. So, I want to pull out their toys and stuff so that they have them. So, lots of reasons to go through the storage unit the next couple of weeks. This dough is looking amazing so far. It feels amazing. It's pulling off the sides pretty well. It's not, it's still sticking to my hand pretty good, but that's okay. I'm getting the forearm workout of a lifetime. I can't feel my arm very much anymore. This is what I needed when I was in drumline. I needed to just sit around and knead bread all day. I would have had forearms like a beast, and then I could just go and use them on the drums. That would have been awesome. Instead, I'm just getting beastly forearms by kneading brioche dough. It reminds me of Gilmore Girls. In an episode, Suki, the chef, is arm wrestling with somebody. I think it's the maitre d' kind of person, not maitre d'. Who's the guy at the hotel called? Concierge. Talking with him or doing like a arm wrestling with him, and she says that all of her strength came from like hand whipping whipped cream, which I completely believe. Like, especially since hand kneading dough like this is making my forearm numb, I can believe that I've also hand whipped whipped cream. It takes a lot. So I can believe someone who spends all day kneading dough and whipping cream would have amazing forearms and could win in arm wrestling, which it's kind of getting, this is getting harder and harder to do because I'm losing my ability to grab the dough and like stretch it out. So, oh man. Okay. But I think that chunk of butter is mixed in nicely. So I'm trying the pressing method. Press the dough with hand kneading. All right. Just adding in more and more dough, or more and more butter as we go along. The dough's coming together nicely. There we go. It's sticking to the bowl. It's like coming together and not sticking to the bowl at the same time. I'm trying this kind of hook grip version of kneading. I think as long as it gets pushed and pulled, it doesn't really matter like what you do for kneading, as long as it's like mixing together basically. Because, oh, there's the butter. So basically what I'm doing right now is come on, my fingers get locked. There we go. So claw grip down in, scoop up some dough, push it down. Scoop it up, push it down. The only problem is my claw is getting like kind of tired. So my fingers go out, my fingers go out straight, but then I'm trying to curl them. So just my fingertips curl, and then I can't get them to close. I actually learned that I could just move the first joint of my finger like that in science class. We were taking old pennies and not sanding them. We used like a steel wool to scrub the top layer off so that they were down to like a copper layer, because these were, I don't remember, old pennies, and you put them in some kind of solution and it turns them a gold color. and that's what we were doing, and it was cool. But when I did that, my finger got stuck like this because I was pushing on the penny and I was paying attention. Then I couldn't get it to bend, and so I figured out I could do it. I started off with like pushing on an object and then bending my finger, and then, oh, look, it's that way. Then I learned how it feels, and now I can do it on all 4 of these fingers. Actually, all 8. Technically, my thumbs do it too, but that's they're not 3 jointed like fingers are, so eh. 1, 2. Well, I guess they are, but they're not jointed the same way fingers are, so it's different. Anyway, all 8 of my fingers, I can just bend the first joint on. Technically, that is like, technically you tell little kids you have 10 fingers and 10 toes. Well, thumb's technically not a finger, it's a thumb. The rest of them are fingers. It is a phalange. You have 10 phalanges. Read a phalange. Oh gosh. All right. We still have like half a stick of butter to add. Okay, the stick of butter has 8 tablespoons in it. I've been cutting these into 5. So, not intentionally, that's just how it's turning out. So it's more like a tablespoon and a half, which I think that's fine. Oh, I've been kneading forever and ever and ever, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Gosh. Oh, you know what? So there's this lady I've been watching on YouTube. She reacts to like 80s movies. I think she was born late 80s, early 90s kind of time frame, and ended up not seeing a lot of the like cult classic movies. I just watched her watch My Girl for the first time. Now, she watched it a year ago, so it's not like she just watched it, I just watched her watch it. Anyway, one of the rounds I was watching her watch the other night was Sister Act, and I think that I have that music stuck in my head. But I didn't finish her watching it, so I need to finish her watching Sister Act because I love that movie. There was a point in my life where I watched the movie Sister Act and Sister Act 2 on repeat. It would be like Sister Act, Sister Act 2, Sister Act, Sister Act 2. And like, it wasn't just oh, I'm gonna watch Sister Act today and Sister Act 2 tomorrow, and then just watch Sister Act today and Sister Act 2 tomorrow. No, this is one after the other on repeat while I'm doing stuff, while I'm watching, all the time, in the background. If I was home, one of those movies was on. And it was just continuous. Sister Act would end, and I'd put on Sister Act 2. Sister Act 2 would end, and I'd put on Sister Act. Like, no, I'm not neurodivergent. How did you guess? What makes you think that? Very neurodivergent. That's fine. This dough is looking awesome. We're almost there. We only have 3 tablespoons of butter left to mix in. I'll have to let you guys know when I get the feeling back in my arm, because right now it's not there. That's okay. Mixing and mixing and mixing and mixing forever and ever and ever. Wait, I didn't get that butter in yet. I had to get the stuff out of the microwave. We need the microwave for usage. This is coming together nicely. I'm really surprised at how adding the butter actually made it come together better. And it could just be that I'm kneading the heck out of this, and so the 20 million hours kneading might be what's causing this, but I think it's more of a kneading forever. Okay, so we got most of the butter. We got the butter mixed in, and this is coming off of here nicely. Not too much left in the bowl. Just a general ruckus, but it's coming. It's mostly coming together. It's not sticking to me that badly. It's still sticking to me, but it's not doing terrible. Yeah, I'm really, really surprised by how adding the butter, it made it come together and stop sticking to things so much. Like I said, it could be the hour and a half of kneading I've been doing that's developed enough gluten that it doesn't need to, like it didn't need any more flour or anything to not stick to things. But I really, really think that the butter had something to do with it, because the complete texture of the dough has changed. It's like a creamier dough, and it's a lot smoother. But it's not sticking very much. It is like it's still a sticky dough, so it's still kind of sticking. But brioche dough is great for cinnamon rolls. We're gonna make some mini loaves / rolls, and I think it's gonna be great. So excited. Okay, so I think this is basically where it needs to be right now. If we look at the recipe, let's see. Continue mixing, medium. With the mixture running, add in butter gradually, 1 tablespoon at a time, letting each teaspoon fully incorporate into the dough before adding the next. 13 to 15 minutes. Continue mixing on medium-high for 5 to 7 minutes until the dough passes the window pane test. Cover with a plastic and let it rise for an hour. Let's see if we get a window pane. Not quite. The window broke. More clawing. Yeah. By the end of this, I'll be kneading for 2 hours. Well, I've only been live streaming for an hour and a half. That's good to know. Well, maybe I've only been kneading for about an hour. Oof. All right. Well, I need to hand knead this for like 2 hours. Don't worry. It's not that bad. But look at it, look at it, look at it. It's coming together really, really nicely. Like, slap at it. And it comes out of the bowl. So, and I don't know if it's the way I'm kneading, if it's the kind of dough it is, if it's got too much liquid in it. I'm not sure 100% what's going on, but oh man, this is definitely heavy, and it's definitely wearing out my arm. All right, but that's fine, because this, oh man, I'm getting a good arm workout. Just wish there was a way I could do with this with like my shoulder pulled back. That just makes it a more awkward angle. There we go. You know what? We'll use it. Pull the shoulder blade back and still try to pull on it. Holy, that makes things difficult. Yep. Ooh, so it's a weird paradox I just kind of thought of. So technically, yes, my right arm is more of my strength and my left arm is more of my finesse. But I just thought about it when I was a waitress. I would hold my tray on my left side. Now, those trays get really heavy, so you could say, like, oh, you have a bunch of strength on your left side, and yes, I do have a bunch of strength on my left side. It's just not the same as my right. And I can argue, or I would argue, will argue, damn kids, get off my lawn. Sorry. But that the balance that it requires to hold a tray, huge tray full of food, requires a lot of finesse. Now, you have to have the strength behind it, but you have to have more of the balance and the ability to kind of hold everything together that you don't get just from raw strength. You have to have finesse too. So it takes strength and finesse. So I don't get to have just like a weak left side that's just really pretty. It also has to have strength to it. So it's just not as strong as my right side. Like, if you were to tell me that I needed to punch through a wall, I would try it with my right hand. Now, that could also be that I write with my left hand, and so if I wanted to punch through a wall, I know that punching anything is going to punch me back in the hand, and so it's not exactly going to make my hand feel all lovey-dovey. And if I want to write with my left hand, it's probably better not punching with it. So, like, I was just thinking, like, when I break boards with my feet, I use my right side. There's more flexibility on my right side. Oh man, it's okay. I need to get back into training, but that's okay. I think I'm gonna try to start training again this weekend. What is it? My local rec center has a karate class, and I've been trying to get the kids into it forever. Like, since we moved here, it's just we haven't had the money for it, and I just got the money for it, so we're gonna start doing that. And then my kids will be in karate, and I'm thinking of joining with them because it's free with the rec pass, with the pass to the rec center. So I'm thinking I could join and I could start training again because I'm out of shape. I would really like to do roller derby, but I gotta find a roller derby team around here. I'm already like when we get to the new house, I put my skates in my storage unit because I don't really, not that I can't skate around here, but we live on a hill and it's really daunting to skate on hills. And so it's really exhausting, and I don't have that kind of energy and stamina to be constantly on hills. So I'm really hoping that when we move to our new house, well, I already know it doesn't have as many hills. So I'm hoping that I can, instead of doing like a morning run, do a morning roller skating. That would be cool. Get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, lace up my skates, and go for a ride before the sun gets too hot. And then hopefully I can get back before 7, rinse off all the sweat, and then get my kids in the shower. You know what? I'm really liking this. There's a lot of things I'm like, I want to do that when we move to the new house. I want to do that and that. Like, one of the things I think is cool is that there's a park like a block over. Now it's technically going to take like 2.5 blocks of walking in order to get to the park because like we're at a juncture where one street joins another, but it joins it in a cul-de-sac, and so we're in like the middle of the cul-de-sac. Well, not middle of the cul-de-sac, but we're in the cul-de-sac, and the park is right behind us. Like I don't know if it's our next door neighbor or the neighbor next to them has a door out of their backyard that opens to the park. Like it's right there. So could jump over the wall and get right to the park, but then I'd be jumping over the wall. But either way, I have, because we're at the corner of that street and it's a cul-de-sac, to go to the park, we have to walk a block over, um, walk like half a block down and a block back to get to the park. Um, so, but I think that'll be a good walking routine in the morning. I'm just so excited about this because I'm also, once we move, I'm going to make the kids either walk or ride their bikes to school. Unless it's raining, but I think we're out of the rainy season here. We live in the desert, and it was raining for a little while, but not so much anymore. So I think having them walk or ride their bike wouldn't be the end of the world. Now, probably gonna have to bring them water when I go and pick them up from school, at least for the first week or so of doing it, which, one, the school's not that far away from our new house, and two, by the time we move, they're only gonna have like 3 weeks of school left. So it's not like they're gonna be doing a ton, but I feel like I'm getting half of the dough outside of the bowl. But it is coming together in more of a ball, which that is definitely making me excited because usually a dough ball is the form that most bread wants to take before it is bread. And right now, this is not a dough. Well, it's becoming more and more of a dough ball, but it's sticking to everything, and I want it to just stick to itself and ignore the outside world. That's what I want it to do. This is what you're doing. This is what I want you to do. Oh, okay, I'm gonna need more mozzarella cheese. I did not mean to slam that like that. See, that's one of the reasons why I know that this is starting to come together better, because I was just trying to like pull it and stretch it, but it came out of the bowl. And so when I put my hand back down, it slammed on accident. See, I was just trying to stretch it like this and it came up a lot faster than I was expecting. So it's working. It's working. Yep. But now I have that other sponge that I made, and it's like, what are you gonna do with that? So what I'm thinking of doing is making like an enriched pizza dough. So I'm gonna have to add some more flour. Actually, I think if I just add a little bit of salt and flour to that, it'll be nice. Because for a pizza dough, you just use like a regular straight dough. You use flour, yeast, salt, and water. That's like pizza dough right there. Just a straight dough. It doesn't have a lot of extra in it. And then the dough I have, the sponge we made together, is flour. Oh, hi, Chef Sweets. Right now I'm finishing mixing a brioche dough, but when I made the sponge for this dough before I started the video, and so I made another sponge when we started the video just to kind of go over like how to make a sponge. And so now I was just thinking, you're in love with brioche rolls or pizza dough? But I was thinking of using my sponge that I made, my extra sponge, as a pizza dough. Now, I'm hand mixing these, so I've been kneading this for like an hour now. What I am going to do is I'm going to let this rise today. It's going to sit and rise for an hour, and then after it rises for an hour, I'm going to punch it down and put it in the fridge until Thursday when Thursday I'm going to actually form this into loaves and bake it. But yes, right now I can't really feel my forearm. It's pretty dead. But it'll definitely be strong. I feel like I'll be able to arm wrestle anybody. Well, except for people who do this on a normal basis. Like if you normally hand knead bread, I don't wanna arm wrestle you because you're probably gonna win against me. I just do this as a hobby. But it's coming together nicely. It's coming together nicely. Brioche buns. You made those yesterday? Nice. You probably had a mixer, so you probably didn't have to hand knead them for an hour, but it's also nice to know like how long these things take, because I now know that if I'm going to make a brioche dough by hand, then I need to block out a good portion of time, because this is exhausting. How did your buns turn out? I'm really excited. Yeah. What I want to do is I want to make these as more like braided mini loaves. That's my goal. I don't have a mini loaf pan though, so it's probably going to be more just like either standalone loaves or in just knead dough, right? We don't need to go to a gym. Who needs a gym? I have a kitchen. Good enough. But yeah, if I can't get this as a standalone dough, I'll probably just do it in like a muffin tin. That'll be just little brioche buns in a muffin tin. But we'll see if they can stand on their own or if they turn into a puddle of goo when I go to form them. Hopefully, after an hour of kneading, they will be no puddles of goo. We will only have amazing bread dough. But it's together in a ball, which is making me really happy. I haven't window tested it in a while because it's still sticking in ways I don't want it to. And so I think it's gonna need better. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that your brioche buns turned out nice. I'm hoping the same for mine. They should at least have a lot of flavor because they're gonna be refrigerated for over 24 hours, almost 48. I have a Discord, I just don't use it. Someone was talking to me about using Discord last week. So it's making me think that I need to do that a lot more. And it's only my own personal Discord. That's cool. Do you do stuff on Discord? Chef Sweets. Okay. See, I just feel like this is still too runny to be done. It's sticking together nicely. It's just not done yet, I don't think. I should bring my other hand in for this because I think it would help save my arm, but I usually give up and start kneading with my right hand again, and this is really messy and I don't want to get the mess on my left hand just to switch it over to my right hand again. Yeah, still kneading. It's not coming together quite right just yet. Almost there. It's a lot better than it was anyway. It's forming a ball and it's pulling away from the bowl pretty good. So we're on a good path. No? Yeah, I don't know about using Discord. I have a Discord and I was using it to hello, Maxim Latini. Hmm. Sorry, I don't know how to say your name very well, Max. Maxim Melatini. Maxim Melatintin. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting to a point where I'm getting to the end of this. You know what? I'm gonna wash my hands real quick and we'll get back in here. French. I'm going to be kicking myself for not washing my hands earlier. Okay. Unmoving coefficient. Hello, sorry for bothering you. I wanted to offer promotion for your channel. Yours prices. Okay, that's nice to know. Thank you. Awesome. Well, thank you all for coming in from all different places. I imagine it's quite late in France, but I understand French culture, you all stay up later anyway. Your dinner's not even till like 8 o'clock at night, so yeah, that's not. It's still the dough is still sticking to me pretty good. So just have to keep going. We're getting there though. I like that this is forming a ball, and it's coming off of the sides pretty easy. I just think I need to knead it a little bit more. Bonjour, Max. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for coming, or for being here. Merci. I'm mixing French and Spanish in my head right now. It's not working. And I can read and understand a lot more French than I can speak. But isn't that how that usually goes? Yeah, but French is the second best language I know. Well, I'm not saying that it's like the second best language. It's out of the languages I can speak and read. English I know the most of. French I know the second most. So I know it's the second best out of the languages that I know. Je parle un petit français, mais je ne parle très bien. I don't know. Je ne sais pas. Je parle comme un bébé. Go. This is forming nicely. At least I'm trying to anyway. Fold and press. Stretch and fold. Like, it's not sticking to the bowl much anymore. So there's a good indicator. Seems to be. Ugh, but I'm running out of shoulders and arms. It's making the kneading go slower. But it's one of those things that it's like, I don't want to knead anymore, but you have to knead it until it's done. If you don't knead it until it's done, then you'll come up with a subpar product later. And no problem. Oh no, how dare you have a personal life and not pay attention to me. Roar! Okay, now I'm gonna find you. Pay attention. Thanks! Yeah, I think it's feeling really good anyway. The only thing is, it's still really goopy, and when I try to make a window, it's not very window-like. The tear's still pretty easy. But I don't know if it should make a window, because this is a very wet dough. But it's not sticking to the sides anymore. Oh goodness. Right. But it's not sticking to the sides so much. I went and washed my hands and it's not sticking to me so much. So we're doing awesome. Right? Oh, and I wish I could knead with my left hand and give my arm a break, but I would do it for 30 seconds and then be like, okay, back to my right hand. So it wouldn't really give me a break. It would just make me more tired, I think. So I'll just keep on going with my right arm. Do you have an arm that you knead with more? Because if I'm doing a drier dough that I'm not worried about getting my hands all sticky, I'll knead with both hands. I just don't knead as much with my left hand. I need a lot more with my right hand. Bienvenue. That's a good day part. I don't know. I think that's a goodbye kind of thing. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. I'm getting really annoyed with the dough. I'm just ready for it to be done. Like, this has been a lot of kneading. Oh boy. So yes, if you're going to make these, I suggest having a mixer with a dough hook that you don't have to sit here and knead for an hour because my arm. Right? This might actually be worth the 10 hours of digging through my storage unit to try to find my dough hook. It might be worth it to not have to do this anymore. I know that when I make cookies and I use the mixer, I get them so much lighter and fluffier because I can actually cream the butter and sugar better. But I do like making things by hand and knowing how to do them by hand, literally by hand. Well, at least I'm learning. Can't put a price on knowledge. Except apparently my knowledge is worth an hour and a half of kneading. So it doesn't have a price. It has like an amount of energy attached to it. An energetic price. There we go. That's what it has. An energetic price. Oh man. This feels good. It feels like it's together fairly nice, and it's nice and stretchy, and it's not sticking to things terribly. Like, yes, it's sticking a little bit, but with this much, it looks done. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go with it. This is done because my arm's tired and I'm ready to be done. Oh goodness. But so I'm at this point. It needs to rise for an hour, and then I'm gonna put it in the fridge because I'm gonna bake this today. I'm gonna bake this with y'all on Thursday. So we're gonna move it to another bowl because this bowl has stuff all over it. we're gonna call it done, if it's done or not. So why am I gonna need it some more to coat the bowl and stuff? Okay, fine. Be smart. Be smart like that. This reminds me of when I make yeast sourdough, because the sourdough recipe I use is a very wet recipe. Oh, beakers. Okay. Well, it looks like solid snot, so there we go. An hour sounds crazy long. Yeah, but that's what my recipe says. Let's see. Right here. Cover bowl with plastic wrap and rest about an hour or double in size. That's what the recipe says. And then I'm technically doing this as a bake the next day because that's a lot of rising time. There's a lot of kneading time. An hour and a half is a long time to knead. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah, my recipe says to let it rise for an hour, but I'll come check on it in 30 minutes. And then this is gonna go in the fridge, technically overnight, but I only bake on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I will be back at about 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. I am gonna put a piece of plastic over this. But anyway, 12:30 Pacific Standard Time, that's when I start. So I will be back on Thursday and we will form this into rolls and bake it. I'll probably do something else while it's rising and baking. Right, 13 to 15 minutes, but that's also in a mixer, not by hand. Yeah, like total kneading time in the mixer should have been like 30 minutes to make this, but it took me an hour and it took me 2 hours to measure and mix everything and knead it till it gets here because I was doing it all literally by hand. I used a spoon in the very beginning, but everything I mixed it by hand. I kneaded it by hand. I mixed the butter in by hand. So, whew. Yeah, 5 to 7 minutes until window pane. There is no window pane. It's just breaking. And that's why I was still kneading because there was no window pane. Thank you. I think it looks good too. So, we're gonna leave this here for today and then we'll come back and bake it on Thursday. This is rewatchable on my Facebook and my YouTube. It's Baking with Jen, both on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're not able to come out and see me on Thursday when I form this up and bake it, you can always see the replay there. But thank you so much for your input on my dough today and for stopping by. I really appreciate having people here. This is a lot of fun. But I'm gonna let this rest and I'm gonna go give my arms a break before they fall off. But thank you for being here. Let's see. Ooh, okay, so I do have a Discord. I'm sorry, I'm a sweaty mess. Okay, followed on here. My Discord. Oops. I don't have one for Baking with Jen. I just have it as my personal Discord. I'm not doing anything on there, and I don't really do much on there. But that's my Discord. I have to look into Discord a lot more because I think that would actually be really helpful for this kind of thing that I'm doing with the baking on live streams. You're not the first person to bring it up, but I appreciate that you did. So thanks for hanging out. This has been a workout for today. I'm going to cover this up and go rest for a little while it rises. So I'll see you all on Thursday. And thanks for stopping by.